So Cebu Pacific, they don't have any business class, they have minimal toilets, and by doing that they can cram in something like 430 to 450 seats into an A330 like this one. Good morning, it's me, Andy, and this is Andy's World Journeys, and today we are in Sydney. I'm staying here at the Travel Lodge, but I am about to head to Sydney International Airport, where I am going to fly, drumroll please, Cebu Pacific. We are heading to the capital of the Philippines, Manila. So, without much ado, let's get our bags and head out to the airport. Look at that sky. It's a perfect day for flying. And we have 8 hours on Cebu Pacific. This is a budget Philippine airline who are renowned for cramming in as many people into a cabin as possible. I believe we're on an A330 today, and I believe they try to get about 430 to 450 people into an A330. There is no business class. It's economy from top to bottom, so this is going to be an experience. And here we are, Terminal 1, the international terminal of Sydney International Airport. And we're just over 3 hours away from our flight time. Australia's busiest airport, folks. Here we are at departures. What you're looking at, folks, is the line, the queue to check in for Cebu Pacific. And no, we're not late, we're 3 hours early. Interestingly, they invite you to check in. So I checked in yesterday, but I didn't really check in. They asked me a bunch of questions, I ticked some boxes, and they said I needed to proceed to the counter to get my boarding pass. We've actually zoomed over here to the online check-in section, which I didn't even realise existed until somebody sort of popped their head and walked down the line. So, checked in, baby. We're going to security. Security at Sydney Airport is renowned. Everything's renowned today, by the way. It's renowned for being very, very time consuming. But yeah, the actual check-in was probably done in less than half an hour, thanks to the online check-in. So there was some advantage in doing online check-in after all. Well, folks, we are here, we are checked in. We have a little over an hour and a half until the flight, so there's no rush, but passport control is quick. They've got automated machines. You move and you think, oh, this isn't so bad. And then you hit security. Then you wait in line for quite a while. And it's a very thorough security. They do thermal body scans, and they searched through my bag. And they confiscated a roll of sellotape. I asked them why. Because it could be used to tie someone up. How's your day going? I mean, literally, if that isn't the silliest thing I've ever heard of, I'm speechless. A330.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
78, straight ahead.
17A, yeah?
Yes. 17A.
There is a very bright cabin for you. .333 all the way from the top to the back. I'm pretty sure this is me here. Well, as the P-pop, is that a thing? Filipino pop? Blazes in the background. Here we are. We are still 25 minutes away from departure, and they just announced they're going to refuel the aircraft. So I'm not sure what they were like. You know, the lady snapped at me. She said, "Get here early," and I was like, I was more than 30 minutes early to the gate, and literally, it's like the earliest I boarded any flight this year, and I've taken a few. So there you go. Anyway, we're here, and actually the cabin is really quite nice, but you can see behind me how it just goes on and on and on. They are 333 across all the way from the top. Probably down the back there might be a couple of twos, I don't know. They are an all-economy airline, and I believe they can get around 430 to 450 passengers on an A330, like the one we're on.
The flight time will take us approximately 7 hours and 41 minutes. We're cruising at an altitude of 38,000.
Okay, we've just been welcomed by the pilot. So Cebu Pacific, they don't have any business class, they have minimal toilets, and by doing that they can cram in something like 430 to 450 seats into an A330 like this one. In all fairness, the seat is pretty narrow, but it's all right, and I'm lucky enough to have paid extra to get this seat. That's the view in front of me. Yeah, I'm on the exit road today, folks, which means that at least there's space for my feet. Today's flight is going to take apparently 7 hours 41 is what the captain has just announced. They tell you on the ticket it's going to be over 8 hours, but I'm happy to hear that it's not going to be quite that long. I was expecting, honestly, it to be chockers when I checked in, but it's not even half full. That's a mercy, I guess. And I've got my own entertainment, so hopefully everything will go nice and smoothly. touch plastic for today's flight, and we'll see how we go with Cebu Pacific. If you're wondering the cost, the base cost of this, which was booked in July, was 448 Australian dollars, which would be less than 300 US, and then I added a bunch of extras on, like seat selection, and I paid $65 just for this seat Australian, so about 40 US, just so that I could sit in this seat, and priority boarding, which I obviously didn't need, but you know, it's all part of the flexi package. And also, if you need to rebook, then the flexi package is useful too. But one thing I will say is that this does represent excellent value for money, because Manila's a bit further than, say, Singapore or Kuala Lumpur. It's pushing 8 hours depending on the conditions. So to think that you could get a ticket for less than 300 for such a long flight, and I'd have to check the mileage for you, is pretty good. Out there we can see one big engine, hey? Wow. And Google tells me the distance today is roughly 6,243 kilometres. So just over 400 AUD for that. That is as good a value, I imagine, as you're going to get. I'm not sure that you would get better value on AirAsia. The only ones I think would be comparable to. So anyway, it's now an hour since I boarded, and we're half an hour after our scheduled departure. They've apparently been refueling the whole time, and they're having some trouble refueling. It's taking longer than normal. I don't know what that means. I don't know how refueling can take longer, but while we wait, why don't we find out if it's toilet time? Well, here we are. It's a very, very small, as you would expect, lavatory, and this is what you get. To say it's a box is an understatement, but we haven't taken off, and yet look how packed it all is, right? And wow, So total on this plane, I think we've got 1, 2, 3 here in the middle, 2 at the back, and possibly one, at least 1, maybe 2 at the front. So it's a maximum of 7, probably 6 is my guess. Toilets on the entire plane. Like, we've only got not even a half full flight, which is great, but imagine you had over 400 people on this plane. 400 people, 7 loos. It's not a great ratio, but that's why they're cheap. Folks, still waiting to take off, but check it out. Actual USB chargers. Right there, below your knees, between the seats. If I hadn't stretched my legs just then, I wouldn't even know.
We are about to take off. Straighten up your seats. Fasten seatbelts securely. Keep window shades open and tray tables stowed. Voice communication with the use of mobile phones is prohibited while cabin doors are closed.
Okay folks, we are finally pushing back. We've had the safety demonstration and the time is 1:15. Well, it's probably about 1:20 now. Scheduled departure was 12:25 I should say. So we are let's say 50 minutes late. Oh, would you look at the big beastie there? Singapore Airlines. Yes folks, that's an A380 I believe. Okay folks, time to have a little look here at the tray table. It's not big. I mean, it opens up alright, and I've still got plenty of space, but it is tiny. And I'll probably be using my laptop later because CEBU Pacific is the true definition of a budget airline. There is no entertainment of any sort provided on this flight. Well folks, we are underway. CEBU Pacific, we are heading towards Manila. No doubt where they keep all the folders. You're probably going to hear that joke a lot on this series of vlogs, so yeah, get used to it. That's all I got. So we're still ascending, but the seatbelt sign was turned off pretty quick, and people hopped out of their seats and moved to other seats. And I will try and see if I can sit in another seat briefly for you, assuming there's so many free, and show you what the legroom situation is like. Folks, the food options on this flight are here in the Let's Eat Fun Cafe. You can see there's lots of sweets and stuff and Pringles and pre-ordered meals, and I'm pretty sure I pre-ordered a meal. And what's really good actually is that they have allergen advice on the menu, which is something that is very, very rare. And for someone like me who suffers from a peanut allergy, it's reassuring. Also, merchandise. And who doesn't like a little plane? And cup noodles. It can be a bit dangerous if it gets bumpy, and it's been a little bumpy. But the good news is we're about 20 minutes in, which means only 7 hours 20 till Manila. Practically there. seems I have made a mistake and I did not order food. But you can buy here, and this I got cup noodle and 2 bottles of water for around about, I think, 200 peso, which incidentally was less than $4 US. So, you know, it's not expensive. Okay folks, so this is your standard non-exit row seat. So I just wanted to show you what it was like space-wise. You can see it's a little tight on the leg room, and I am only 5'8", but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. And as for how far does the seat recline, the answer is it doesn't. But honestly, in a tight space, that's a good thing, right? Everyone has equal amount of space. Kinda. Howdy all. We are, I can't do the maths, but we're about 3.5 hours from Manila. So we've been going for quite some time now, and outside it is extremely bright, and I look out there, I can't even see anything. Maybe the camera showed you, but I've got a nice little setup here watching videos on the little thing of the emergency door. So yeah, just a bit over 2.5 hours to go folks, and yeah, plenty of clouds out there over the Pacific Ocean. They have really turned up the air conditioning now. It's really cold. I was using my hoodie as a pillow, but it's too cold. I needed to keep me warm. Oh, it's hard to fill a flight with no entertainment. It's a lovely view out there, isn't it? Those colours. So the time is about 4:30 Manila time, and I'm guesstimating we get in around about 6ish. Well, it's dark outside and it's nearly, what's about 20 to 6 Filipino time, so I'm expecting us to start a descent any time, to be perfectly honest. Not that there's any sign of that. All in all, it's been a comfortable flight. It's all been good. The toilets are a bit of a situation, but it is a budget airline. So, I mean, of course, if this thing was packed full, it'd be a completely different experience. So, hard to know. But if this is a typical Sydney to Manila flight on a Tuesday, then it's an option that'll save you a lot of money. The food, the drinks are all really cheap. Less than $1 for a bottle of water. Yeah, I guess we'll just settle in and wait for the descent and the landing. We have begun the descent, and they're just cleaning up the cabin now. And they've reminded everyone that they need to have they've reminded people about the e-travel pass, which is this thing you've got to do. You've got to fill it in before you leave. Well, within 3 days of you arriving in the Philippines. I filled mine out yesterday, and I went down the route of I googled it, and I ended up on the wrong site. But it wasn't the wrong site. But yeah, it was some sort of fee. They charged a fee for it. I realised, of course, it's actually free, and I managed to find the correct site. But it is just something to be aware of. There are some scammy sites out there. See all the Cebu Pacific planes in a line, and I think we're in Terminal 3. 3 for the price of 2. Well folks, it's that time. Everyone's grabbing their bags, and I believe we're going out this door right here, which is really cool. This is my first time in the Philippines, folks, and there's really a it's got that extremely heavy, humid Southeast Asian feel to it already. Immigration was really quick. Just showed them the e-thing, passport stamp, and I'm in. Literally got off the plane less than 10 minutes ago, and they have just started baggage. Well folks, that was an 8-hour flight, and I am pretty beat. I've got to get back to, I've got to get to my hotel, and yeah, wrap it up there. I've made it to my hotel and I am shattered. 8 hours is a long time for anything, let alone to be in a plane. And I think in the end it was about 8 hours. When you count the time on the ground, and we had a bit of a pause on the ground in Manila as well, it's more than 10 hours in that Cebu Pacific plane. But luckily, the ambience was actually really good, and despite the delay and despite the condition of the toilets, I was pretty happy with Cebu Pacific, and it's really hard to beat that sort of price. And I think you can probably, if you're lucky, get it for cheaper, and if you're not lucky, you pay more. It's all about timing. Anyways, the next thing to do is I'm going to have a little look-see around Manila and do a vlog or two about Manila, and then I'm heading down, going to do a domestic flight with Cebu Pacific, so there'll be a review on that, and hopefully I can get some hot food at some point on the flight. And I'm going down to the island of Palawan, and I'm staying in El Nido. So, touch wood, everything goes according to plan-ish, and that's what's coming up in the next few weeks on the channel. Anyway, take care. Thank you wherever you are in the world for watching. Please click the old like button and subscribe, as it really does help the channel to grow. May the journey never end.